Kasi nga ano, 'di ba, I was asking ilang years kayo sa school kasi parang alam ko, hala, babalik sila ng ano, pagbabasa yung parang school classroom na tawag doon na yan. Parang school classroom na style. Sabi ko parang mahirapan to sila. Background. Nag-ano aking ano ba, pag on ko ng Zoom, alam mo ba yung mag-upgrade, nawala lahat ng mga background mo? Ganyan. Sabi ko, ay, nabago, pati yung lipstick ko nawala sa Zoom. Diba, inaano man yan, merong lipstick kilay. Nag-upgrade siya bigla, tapos pag on, uy, mukha na akong ano, bagong gising. Binalik ko pa lahat. Bruha talaga tong Zoom. Kailan naman na mag-start na yung klase, saka naman siya mag-upgrade. Yan. Kaya binalik ko na naman yung aking background. Pag on ko nga kanina, ay, bakit pangalan to ng asawa ko? Ginamit ba niya Zoom ko? Nagulat ako, inop ko kaagad. Tinanong ko yung husband ko, nag-Zoom ka? Siya, oh, nag-meeting kami. Ginamit ko account mo kay naka-open daw yung laptop ko. Loko ka. Sa classic ko yun. Pangalan. Gulat ako, bakit pangalan mo nakasulat dito? Sabi ko. Hoy, bakit iba pati mukha iba? Kasi naka-on lang daw yung laptop ko kahapon. Ginamit daw niya sa meeting. Kaya inayos ko pa lahat. Tapos pag-ayos ko, ay, Zoom is upgrading. Naku, talaga matong Zoom. Sige, so, kumusta naman yung ating ano ha? Okay lang yung ating tawag doon. Ah, pag-summarize ng cases, pag-case digest. So, it really requires a teamwork. Pag isolo mo yung pag-case digest ng ganyang kadaming cases, tapos walang person assigned na mag-explain. For example, Dandan, Geraldine, ikaw yung mag-explain sa amin para ma ng case number 1 para ma-strengthen yung understanding namin. So another person will dapat kayong lahat makabasa, pero there should be one person, a point person per case na to strengthen the understanding. Tapos merong isa ang magsabi na ay parang hindi man ganyan yung application. I think ito. So it ano ba, provides discussion to cases. Kasi kung solo digest ka, solo yung I, me and myself, ako ang mag-digest, ako ang magtanong sa sarili ko, ako din ang mag-argue sa sarili ko. Baka pag end ng klase yung eye bags mo nasa may ilong mo na sa haba, talagang magkaka-eye bags ka, aabot na dito yung eye bags mo pag isosolo mo ang pag-digest ng cases. Tapos ikaw po talaga ang solo mag-understand na. Hindi ka makasurvive sa law school pag ikaw yung person na I, me, myself. I will digest, me will ask the question, myself will answer. Si I, me, myself, yan. So, help one another, it makes law school easier. Lalo na pag nakaroon ka ng classmate na ano, na tawag doon na makulit. Maganda kasama ang makulit kasi makulit din niya sa kaso. Yung talagang inaano niya, sinusuyod niya, tini-check na yung mga ano. Yan ang magandang kasama. Madami kang matutunan sa ganyang kasama na taga-digest. Masipag ang tawag ko dyan. Okay, so last time we ended with article. Open natin yung ating.
3 po.
So did you purchase or did you download the revised penal code, the CODAL?
Most of us po, attorney, download po.
Oh, very good. So doon naman kayo nag-download sa tawag doon, site talaga, the
Yes po.
official site. Kasi
Sa
meron man
email
diyaang
po.
mga nag-download, nire-repeat nila, but they are not the authorized site. So, merong makikita mong discrepancy with the download. Minsan, nawawala yung ibang words. Ako na, ano na rin ako ng ganyan. Ba't kaya parang kulang ito? Saan ko kaya nakuha? Yan. So, tingnan natin yung ating tawag doon, Article 3. Okay, so Article 3, De Los Santos, can you read Article 3?
Good afternoon, attorney. Okay, this is Chapter 1, Felonies. Article 3, Definitions. Acts and omissions punishable by law are felonies or delitos. Felonies are committed not only by means of deceit, dolo, but also by means of fault, culpa. There is deceit when the act is performed with deliberate intent, and there is fault when the wrongful act results from imprudence, negligence, lack of foresight, or lack of skill.
Were you present during last meeting? So what were the 3 mistakes in Article 4?
In Article 4, ma'am, the 3 criminal liability shall be incurred by number 1 by any person committing a felony, delitos, although the wrongful act done be different from that which he intended. Number 2, by any person performing an act which would be an offense against persons or property, which were it not for the inherent impossibility of its accomplishment or an account of the employment of inadequate or ineffectual means.
Yung did I discuss the errors and persona aberratio ictus praetertionanim last meeting?
Not yet po, ma'am.
Okay. So these are the 3 errors in Article 4. Room share. Malalaman mo na ang isang tao nakapag-aral ng criminal law kasi gagamit siya ng term na felony. Hindi siya gagamit ng criminal cases. Felonies as share. Yan. Ito yung first, the kinds of felonies that we have is in paragraph 1. Kapag ang kaso mo is in the revised penal code, ang tawag niyan felony. Kapag outside of the revised penal code, like special laws, yung mga drug cases, ang tawag niyan crimes. Sa labas. Kapag ikaw ay naparusahan sa like no smoking, yung magtawid ng kalsada na wala sa restraint, or mga municipal ordinance, ang tawag niyan misdemeanor. So, sa atin dito, we will study first felonies. These felonies are found in the revised penal code. So, lahat yan, yung mga murder, homicide, tawag doon, estafa, libel, as long as they are found in the revised penal code, they are called felonies. Ito naman mga special laws, violation of drug laws, ano pa ba yung violation, mga criminal cases, yung mga cyber sa labas, those are crimes. So, usually the media, they will call everything violations or a crime. Wala silang tawag doon. Kasi alam naman nila na pag magsabi sila ng felony is committed, mahirapan yung mga tao mag-intindihan. Ang alam nila, kapag may nagawa kang kasalanan, krimen, crime. Pero sa ating mga law student, kapag nasa revised penal code ang kasalanan mo, felony ang tawag niyan. So, it is a felonious act, meaning punishable siya sa revised penal code. kung punishable siya sa like drug law, it is a criminal act. Kung nagkaroon ka ng kasalanan like hindi ka nakabayad ng local tax, hindi ka um, tawag doon, nagsunod sa mga pagtapon ng basura, mga ano man ito sa municipal. So meron kang nagawang misdemeanor against the city government. Kaya ang sa atin dito, assignment sa atin, differentiate between felonies, offense, crime, and misdemeanor. Here, dapat alam mo how to differentiate what is a felony, what is an offense, what is a crime, what is a misdemeanor. We will study first felony. So in Article 4, what is a felony? Your classmate has also recited the definition of felony. I'm sure you have also read the definition of felony in your downloaded article. So, what is a felony? It is committed by delito, although the wrongful act done be different from that which he intended. Kapag ang isang tao nakakommit ng felony sa revised penal code, it is in the Spanish word, English felony, Spanish delito. Kahit pa yung ginawa mo, hindi yun ang resulta ng ginawa mo. So, what are the kinds of felonies that is not what you intended? Kasi madali man lang if you intended it, di ba? Kung pinatay mo siya at namatay siya, tapos wala na tayong pag-uusapan kasi nasunod man. Ang iba, hindi ko man yan sinadya, hindi man ko man yan siya gustong patayin. Di ba maraming mga alibay? Narinig nyo na, ay, kasinungalingan, wala yan sa mga plano ko. Hindi ko yan, wala sa isip at puso kong yan. Pero ano ang sabi ng Article 4? Ikaw ay mananagot kahit na hindi mo plinano ang resulta. Number 1, in what sense? Error and persona. This is the first one. Wrong person. For example, si Jason Fabular, galit siya kay Michael Marshall. Tapos, binaril ni Jason si Michael, ang tinamaan ibang tao. So, ang ibig mong sabihin, hindi naman nanagot si Jason kasi total, ang gusto lang man niya patayin si Michael. Pero ang namatay si Michael Jackson, hindi si Michael Marshall, ibang tao. Would he still be liable? Yes. That is called error in persona sa Spanish, wrong person. So, by any person committing the felony, although it is the wrong person ang tinamaan. Naano nyo? Ano naman itong aberratio ictus, mistake of law? Binaril ni Michael ang first one sa error in persona. Kunwari, ganito ang nangyari. Sure ka, kunwari si Jason, inabangan niya sa kanto si Michael. Tapos ayan si Michael nakasuot ng red t-shirt. Tapos paglabas ni Michael, hindi pala si Michael ang naka-red t-shirt, ibang person. Nakuha niyo? Yung pala naka-red t-shirt ay hindi si Michael Marshall. Siya ay si Michael Jackson. So that's the wrong person. Ano pagkakaiba ng error in persona sa aberratio ictus, mistake of law? Si Michael Marshall naglalakad. Sure ka, nakita mo na siya. Tapos bigla mang nadapa si Michael. Pagbaril mo. May tao pala sa likod ni Michael. Like si Dana ang nasa likod ni Michael. That is a mistake of law kasi pag yuko ni Michael, dumiretso ang bala kay Dana. Pero sure ka na target mo na talaga si Michael. Lumampas ang bala. Mistake of the blow. O kaya, yung pagbaril mo kay Michael, masyadong malakas ang bala, tinamaan pa ang ibang tao. May mga ibang tao pang tinaman. Alam mo man yan, di ba? Minsan ang bala hindi lang sa isang tao tumatama, tumagos sa isang tao, it went through another person or third person. That is a mistake of law. Aberratio ictus ang tawag dyan. How about the third one? Praeter intentionanim. The result exceeded the act. Ito yung pangatlong mistake. Tinulak ko lang si Michael. Huwag ka nga lumapit sa akin, kasi Dana. Dana, huwag ka nga lumapit sa akin dahil, talaga si Dana, lapit ng lapit. Itulak ko kaya ito para lumayo. Tapos pagtulak ko kay Dana, napakong ang ihang ulo. Gusto ko na siya itulak or sampalin. Ano ba, Dana, nakakainis ka magsalita. Gusto ko lang sampalin siya, ipahiya. Pag sampal ko kay Dana, natumba, nabali ang ulo na tama sa hollow blocks o bato. That is the result exceeded the act. I just want to humiliate Dana by slapping her. However, I have no intention of killing Dana. Pag sampal ko kay Dana, na bagok ang ulo niya na ano sa dingding, that is praeter intentionani. My intention, the effect is not what my intention. I just intended to slap her, humiliate her, but it turned out her head hit a certain stone, natumba siya, napalo siya, so the result exceeded the act. Pero itong Article 1, first of all, even if there are errors, the first act I should do is against the law, the revised penal code. So, by any person committing a felony, I must perform a felony. Kaya lang, ang nangyari, there was error in the person, there was mistake in the blow, the result exceeded the act. Why I am making this clear? What if I did not make a felony and then the result exceeded? Like for example, making a joke. Pagsabi ko, bulaga, Janice! Ito, ahas na plastic, di ba? Did I make a felony kung ginulat kita, Janice? Like example, bulaga. O kaya yung baby, gibulaga ako, tsaka, tsaka. Di ba yung mga babies, ginaan natin, ginalaro natin, tsaka, pikabo, pikabo. Tapos, paano kung hindi nagtawa ang baby? Pag pikabo mo ang baby, nangitom ang ngabil sa baby, namatay, kaya nag-heart attack sa sobra nimong pakurat. Although, lahat naman ng parents, nag-joke-joke siguro sa babies, di ba? Is making a joke a felony? But the result was not a joke. It was the result, like for example, na-hospital ang bata, na-hospital si Janice, or na-hospital yung ano. Is it covered here? The law is clear. I must make a felony and make a mistake. This time, I did not make a felony, but there is a result. Naku, ano yung difference ng dalawa? Itong paragraph 1, pwede lang itong error in persona, aberratio ictus, praeter intentionanim. If in the heart of the person, he has a bad intention. Pag wala namang bad intention at nagkaroon ng masamang epekto, hindi makover ang Article 1. Example again. Sa paragraph 1. Nasa second floor ako. Sa second floor, Naglagay ako ng paso ng tanim. Sabi ko, kapag dadaan to si Harvey Calabia, ihulog ko talaga tong paso para matamaan sa ulo niya. Gusto ko mabukol siya kay lagot na kay Kwani kay Harvey baka ng ah, insultador, murag kinsa, basta na ako'y alingot-ngot kay Harvey. So nag-atang ko sa second floor, pag agi ni Harvey, gitolak na ako ang paso, nahulog sa iyang ulo. Gusto na ako mabukulan si Harvey. Kaso natamaan man ng ugat, namatay. Is it covered by Article 4, Harvey?
Good afternoon, attorney. Yes, yes, attorney, it is covered by Article 4.
Because
Uh, it is uh, it is covered even though you're
it is a
there
felony
it
because
is
of
felony because of the prior intention and even the result exceeded the act.
the first answer should be I committed a felony because it is a delito to plan on hurting someone, di ba? Eh, what is a felony? Felony are, ano yung sa paragraph 3? Felonies are ano yung meaning ng felony? Paragraph 4.
Article 3, attorney, definition acts felonies are committed not only by means of deceit, dolo, but also by means of fault, culpa. There is deceit when the act is performed with deliberate intent.
Yes. Yun na yung sagot. Because the act is performed with deliberate intent of harming the person. So, meron ka talagang deliberate intent to harm the person. Kaya it is a felony. Although, according to Article 4, so kinumbine mo yung answer mo sa 3 and Article 3 and Article 4. You define first the felony committed and then the wrongful act done is in Article 4. Okay, you rephrase your answer.
Attorney, I have committed felony because according to Article 3 of Revised Penal Code, felonies are committed not only by means of deceit, dolo, but also by means of fault, culpa, and there is deceit when the act is performed with deliberate intent. And according to Article 4, it is that wrongful act will be subject to you'll be criminally liable.
Because of, even though
Because
the wrongful act,
even though the wrongful act uh,
be different from that which is intended. In this case, I committed praeter.
in this case, I have committed praeter intention in him, which means that the result exceeded the act.
Yes. Ang gusto mo na, sabi ko, even though I intended to harm him physically, but the effect exceeded the act, I am still criminally liable, di ba? So, yun ang complete essence ng hinabangan mo ang isang tao, hinulog mo yung paso sa second floor. Ang gusto mo lang talaga mangyari ay mabukulan. Kaso tumama yung paso. So that is the complete answer. Ngayon, nag-antay ka sa second floor kasi alam mo darating yung barkada mo. Sino bang BFF mo ito? Kunwari, BFF mo si Aaron Redullas. Ito si Aaron. Paparating na. Hulugan mo kayo ng tubig. Basahin ko yung joke card ko siya. Di ba meron mang ganyan, meron maglaro ng water gun. I-water gun ko to si Aaron, i-water gun ko, ganyan. Tapos, ayan na si Aaron. Gisirita ni mo ang water gun. Pero ang nakita ni Aaron, hindi yung water gun. Ang nakita ni Aaron, yung gun. Akala niya, barilin mo talaga siya. Sa sobrang takot ni Aaron, tumaas ang BP niya, nanigas siya, nag-collapse, naligid sa hagdanan, namatay. Aaron, this is a second case for you. Is a felony committed?
Yes, attorney, a felony was committed because according to Article 4, Section 1, by any person committing a felony or delito, although the wrongful act be different from that which he intended. Although he intended only to uh, to although his intention is not really to although he only used a water gun, but what I saw was I thought it was an actual gun. That's so so his act resulted into different from that what which he intended.
Syempre, we are law students. Who wants to argue with Aaron? Everything is graded, so if the answer, so Harvey, I gave you 90 for the recitation. So anyone who wants to argue with Aaron's to receive a grade, advanced grade,
Good afternoon, attorney.
itaas mo yung kamay mo so I can, Mika, no? Okay, so
Yes,
Mika,
attorney. I would like to try, attorney. So based on the given situation, according to Article 3, it is there is still felony committed by the means of culpa, wherein as it is defined that when a wrongful act results from imprudence, negligence, lack of foresight, or lack of skills, and relating it to Article 4 under paragraph 1 by any person committing a felony or delito, although the wrongful act done be different from that which he intended, which also falls with praeter intentionem, the result
a minute,
exceeded.
you mentioned culpa. We
Yes,
agreed that
attorney.
if you will use the word culpa, you have to properly choose the 4 choices, lack of
Okay.
skill, lack of foresight. So, since you said it is culpa, how is it culpa? How is it negligence? Because kanina, tama naman si Harvey, there is a delito because it was deliberate intent. How about this using the word culpa? You have to justify it.
Yes, attorney. It is a felony by culpa because of the lack of foresight, attorney.
In what sense?
That that the ability to predict the action of or I mean or the predicting of the action, say this one, what will happen to be or needed to be in the future. So it is culpa by the lack of foresight, attorney.
Any volunteer?
Me, attorney.
Ayo, Jovelyn.
Attorney, she did not commit felony because in order for Article 4 to apply, there should you should have the deliberate intent, and in this act there's no felony because hindi niya kumbaga, it was not intentional, but the result is the death of the person. That's
You're
why
correct.
Article 4 is not
There's no
applied.
argument. Tama naman si Mika tsaka ikaw, there is no deliberate intent. Kaya lang, ang sa kay Mika, it has become culpa. Kasi nga, pag mag-felony tayo, it has to be a felony by dulo or felony by culpa. Ang sa'yo naman, hindi felony by dulo, di ba? Correct? Kasi wala deliberate intent. So, is it felony by culpa? Kasi si Mika, felony by culpa man ang kanya. Is a felony committed? That's the first thing you have to analyze, is a felony committed kahit mali ang resulta? Mali nga ang resulta, but una sa lahat, you have to analyze whether a felony is committed na mali ang resulta. You start first with the felony by culpa or felony by dulo. So, is pointing a gun. Babalik tayo ha. Walang namatay, Mika. Walang namatay. Tututukan kita ng baril. Di ba marami man dyan during sa San Juan? San Juan, di ba, yung maglalagay
Yes, sir.
ng tubig, magbash siya ng tubig, o kaya water gun. This is a water gun. Walang namatay, nabasa ka lang. Kunwari naglalakad ka, Mary Argentine, Lagsa, during San Juan. Alam mo naman yan, during sa San Juan, sa Manila. Sino mga Tagalog dito? I think there are from Luzon, Manila here. Sino mga taga Manila here? Na familiar na pag San Juan, yung piyesta ng San Juan sa San Juan City, pag dumaan ka doon, tapunan ka ng tubig o i-water gun ka. Wala na, nabigla, nawala na yung mga taga Manila girls dito. Ayaw
Yes,
tawag.
attorney.
Yes, attorney.
That is true, attorney, in San Juan.
Diba San Juan, Sir Edwin, di ba? Alam mo ba yon na anuhan ka ng
Yes,
water?
attorney. Yes. They are allowed to,
Mag-iwas ka
to
talaga,
wet
di ba?
people that's passing by.
Oh, during June
Yeah.
ba yan? June. Hindi ka dadaan sa June 27 sa harap ng San Juan dahil mababasa ka. Kasi maraming tao dyan nag-host sa iyo or water gun. Kunwari, nabasa ka lang, is a felony committed, Edwin? Is there a felony? Kung wala naman nangyari sa'yo, nabasa, nagpalit ka lang ng t-shirt. Mika, balik tayo doon sa iyo. Is a felony committed? Nabasa ka lang, wala namang nangyari sa'yo.
No po, attorney.
Wala.
Wala po.
You're correct. Wala. There's no felony. Yun yung
Oh,
point
no.
ko. You have to know whether an act is a felony first. So, kung magsabi ka ng kanina, felony by culpa, yung lack of foresight. Yung lack of foresight na yun, it is something that requires you to do it. Like for example, when driving a car. Lahat ng tayo na may sasakyan, we really have to take care of our car para hindi makasagasa sa daan. Diba? Pero itong paghawak ng baril, toy gun, that is allowed. That is the children do it. They throw water at you. Wala naman kasing batas na nagbabawal maglaro ng water gun. Pag merong, the moment pinagbabawal ang paghawak ng water gun, it becomes a crime. Ngayon wala eh. I do not read any law stopping a person from playing with water gun. So nothing is committed. However, may nangyari sa laro mo, sa bad joke mo. So there is a death that occurred because of the joke, which is not a felony. Is it covered by Article 4? No. Because Article 4, you must commit first a delito by culpa or delito by dulo. Felony by dulo or felony by culpa. This is the first thing I would like to train you with. Bago magkasanga-sanga, dapat marunong ka talaga maghiwalay sa felony by culpa and felony by dulo. Otherwise, yung sanga natin, hahaba yan from mistake. Mas marami pang mistake na mangyayari ng mga anak unless you know the first original act. It is very hard for you to thoroughly analyze the felony. Sa beginning pa lang, matuto ka ng mag-isip kung may nagawang masama ang isang tao. Masama bang intention niya? Or aksidente bang nirik ba ito? Ito namang felony by culpa, it requires you to be on guard of your actions. Ano ba sabi ko? Ano ang difference ng driver na nagda-drive ng car at ng isang tao na naglalaro ng water gun? Yun ang nagda-drive ng car, wala naman siyang ginawang kasalanan. Pero required siya na before driving a car, may driver's license. Required siya mag-seminar. Required siya na marunong mag-on-off ng car niya, gasolinahan niya. Required din siya na ipa-check yung mga batteries, mga brake, para makapag-stop siya on the last moment. Ngayon, kapag naka-aksidente siya, that is felony by culpa. Kasi naka-aksidente siya. Bakit siya nagka-aksidente? Kasi hindi niya ginawa yung dapat na ni-require sa kanya as a driver. Ngayon, ito namang person, kunwari si Ortiz, marami siyang toy gun, yellow, black, blue, yellow, red, orange. Does the law require him to register the toy guns, the water gun? Wala. Nothing is required of him. Kunwari, Ortiz, walang tubig ang iyong red na baril. Dahil walang tubig ito, ikaw ay mapaparusahan. Diba? Parang, wala namang ganyan na hindi nalagyan ng tubig. O kaya dapat iparehistro mo ang iyong yellow gun, ang iyong yellow water gun sa PNP. Sige daw, pumunta ka doon ng PNP. Ba't ka nandito, Ortiz? Ipaparehistro ko sana yung aking yellow water gun, blue and red. Baka habulin ka tagang PNP. Buiset, huwag mo akong disturbuhin dito. Kasi wala namang record sa iyo, di ba? O kaya, papaluin ka ng teacher mo, ng Ortiz, bakit yellow ang mo, kulang ka ng green and orange. Lahat tayo dapat. Meaning nothing is required of you with the water gun. Do you see the difference now? In the accident by culpa or felony by culpa, the law requires you to do something so that you will avoid the accident. The second one, if the law does not require you to do anything, walang mangyayari. Like for example, lumabas si Mary Argentine. Ang ganda ng damit ni Mary Argentine. Naka-diamond siya, naka-alahas. Meron pala ito si Belara. Pag nakakita pala siya ng diamond, nag-hyperventilate siya. Pag nakakita siya, hindi siya makahinga. Kailangan akin yan. Bakit ang ganda ng diamonds niya, ako wala. Tapos, si Mary, ginanang-ganon pa ni Mary yung diamond niya. Wala, hindi na nakahinga si Belara, namatay sa inggit. May kaso. Kaya nga meron joke, mamatay ka sa inggit. Kinakasuhan yung ang naging dahilan sa inggit. Anong kinamatay ni Christine Olaer, kunwari ganyan. Nilibong na po siya cause of death, inggit. Nainggit siya sa sobrang dami ng diamond ni Mary Argentine Lagsa. Mula pa hanggang ulo, pati botones diamond. Inggit na talaga siya. Hindi na niya nakaya ang inggit sa katawan niya. Yan man nangyayari ngayon, naiinggit sa atin sa mga taga-Davao. Dati yung mga, kasi sabi pag naghihiring na sinato, mga inggitero talaga to sila, no? Mamatay kayo sa inggit. Talagang magaling kami doon sa Davao, ganyan. Kasi wala namang kaso yung mamatay sa inggit, di ba? Pag namatay. Yun yung point. Ano yung cause? Sa ngayon pa, alam na natin na there are actions which are felonious. There are actions which are not in culpa. But here, we should know in our mind how to evaluate whether it is a felony. Okay? So, alam na natin, is there any question whether dapat, discerning yung kung sa pa ba, sa mga Christian pa, kinisala ni sa Ginoo, kinisala ni sa batas, di ba? Di naman nasala ang manigarilyo, pero sa atua sa Davao City, madakpan yung kabayad ka. Di ba? During sa election, sala ba day mo inom og beer? Pero nag-ingon man sa election, sala siya. So, it is a crime. Pero during normal days, it is not a crime. Libog, no? So, pero nagbigin ta sa felony before we go to the crime. So, is there any, klaro na ba? Now, when there is a mistake in paragraph 2, the beginning of it all to be covered by Article 4, is it a felony by dulo? Is it a felony by culpa? And then, if you have determined that it is a felony by culpa, so what was the mistake that resulted? If it is a felony by dulo, what is the mistake that is resulted? So, basahin natin uli ang paragraph 4. You read it again, Dana. Article 4, Dizon.
Article 4 of the Revised Penal Code, criminal liability shall be incurred, one, by any person committing a felony or delito, although the wrongful act done be different from that which he intended.
Use ito. Ano yung last word, Dana?
Intended, attorney.
Okay. Meron bang intention ang kulpa? Let's go back to Article 3. Felonies. Can you read Article 3 again?
Article 3, attorney. Acts and omissions punishable by law are felonies or delitos. Felonies are committed not only by means of deceit or dolo, but also by means of fault or culpa. There is deceit when the act is performed with deliberate intent,
Okay.
and there is
Stop now. With deliberate.
intent, attorney.
So, saan yung intent? Felony by?
Dolo.
Ang culpa, meron bang intention? Balik-balikin natin to ba?
Wala, attorney.
So, anong ibig sabihin ng Article 4 in conclusion? Arlene Relion. Marunong tayo ito kasi sinabi natin ang law students must have logic, law, and language. So, let's use our logic. The logic about intention. Where do you find it? Intention.
Hi, attorney. Good afternoon.
Yes.
As stated in Article 3, culpa has no motive nor has it in any intention.
Therefore,
Yes.
Article 4 is anong masabi mo sa Article 4?
Attorney,
Yes? Okay, what's your conclusion on Article 4?
Attorney, Edwin Torres. Therefore, attorney, I conclude that Article 4 falls under culpa.
A culpa has no intention.
Attorney,
Attorney.
Yes?
may I answer po?
Attorney,
Oh, okay,
Michael
yes,
Marshall.
may answer. What is it?
According to Article 4, criminal liability by any person committing a felony delito, although the wrongful act done be different from that which he intended. So with the word intended, attorney, it means that it is a liability under dolo because there is an intent.
Okay. Are we clear? I'm glad that you mentioned it. So, if you are going to mention article culpa by dulo, there must always be an intent. Correct? How about culpa? May intention ba ang culpa, the accident?
Attorney.
None.
no.
Okay, so parang ano ba, nag-level up na tayo sa pag-a-analyze ng mga tawag doon, intent, dulo by culpa. Dalawa lang kasi yan. I can see na nakukuha na ninyo yung difference ng accident at intention. Dito kasi sa as we go forward, ang first talaga natin analyze, is there a felony committed? And if it is a felony, is it a felony by dulo or felony by culpa? Yun yung second part. Kung felony by dulo ang pinanindigan mo, what was the intention? What is the criminal intention? If it is by dulo by culpa, anong sabi ko? Dapat ano yung apat na i-support mo sa culpa, sa accident? Whether it is,
Wrongful
Mika, ano
act,
yun?
imprudent.
Yes, Mary, ano yun? Whether he is?
Whether the wrongful act results from imprudence, negligence, lack of foresight, or lack of skill.
Okay. So yun yung, that is how you will logically defend your answer. Kung nakikita mo yung intent, naturally pupunta ka sa felony by dulo. So you have to explain what was the intention. How was the intention shown? How was the motive? What was the motive? Kasi ang motive niya, gusto niyang yumaman. So paano nakita yung intention niya na gusto niyang yumaman? Nag-prepare siya ng mga gamit na pang hold up or pangpasok sa video. Nakikita mo na nag-prepare ng acetylene. So ngayon, paano mo nalaman na magnanakaw na siya? Kasi pumunta na siya ng video, nagdala siya ng pangsira ng ave de carba. So yun yung dulo. By felony by dulo. Yung kalahati ng mundo natin dito is felony by culpa, yung accident. Paano nangyari ang aksidente? Wala naman siyang intention. Accident ba yung, kasi required siya na maging improved. Dapat he must be imprudent. He must have the proper skill. Kaso wala siyang skill. Kaya nahulog siya sa tawag doon sa felony by culpa. Yay! Maliwanag na ba yung dalawang linya natin? Pwede na tayo mag-branch out, girls. So, pagklaro na yung dalawa, aakit na tayo, mag-level up na tayo sa ating criminal law kung maliwanag na. Kasi, yay, pag hindi maliwanag ang dalawa, para tayong bulag na nag-move on. Okay? Paragraph 2. Itong paragraph 2 also causes like a lot of arguments. Paragraph 2. Dandan, paragraph 2.
Good afternoon po, attorney. Happy Kadayawan.
Happy Kadayawan. Uy, daghag prutas ba? Nitaas gid akong sugar karon. Grabe, naka-remember ko sa Kadayawan. Lami kaayo ang mangosteen and rambutan. My God. Kaswerte gid sa taga Davao no. Kaya nainggit na sila, mamatay sila sa inggit sa labas sa Kadaya di sa Davao. Madami tayo, kahit na ina-attack nila tayo, marami pa rin tayong magagandang bagay dito sa atin. Na sila, hindi sila makakain ng mangosteen. Tayo makakain tayo ng mangosteen anytime. At anong prutas, mangga. Marami tayong kasiyahan dito na proud to be from Davao. Parang ayaw ko na magbukas ng nakakainis na pagbuksan mo yung mga hearing sa Senado. Na-high blood ako pag nanonood ako. Tumataas ang aking dugo. Yan. Kaya mag-isip ka na lang ng Kadayawan para hindi ka mainis. Di ba? Dandan! Paragraph 2.
Paragraph 2. By any person performing an act which would be an offense against persons or property.
Stop mo yun ha.
Ito.
So, mayroong taong gumawa ng bagay, pero it is an offense against persons and property. Meaning, ano yung offense against persons? Nasa book 2 yan. Ang offense against persons sa Title 2 ng book 2, ito yung mga parricide, homicide, physical injuries, infanticide, murder. Lahat ng pananakit sa tao, that is an offense against a person or a felony. The felonies he has committed are in the title of offense against persons. Sa book 2, hinihiwalay yan. Offense against persons, against moral, against security. Itong paragraph 2 only refers to one particular title in the book 2. Offense against persons. Pwede so do you get now kung sinabi ko against persons, yung tao ang sinasaktan?
Yes, Attorney.
So pwede yan murder, pwede yan homicide, pwede yan infanticide, pwede yan parricide, pag-aralan natin yan later. Pwede yan physical injuries. Okay, yung second paragraph is offense against property. So yung mga bagay-bagay na naman, nagnakaw ka, robbery, theft, estafa, destruction ng mga properties, yan yung dalawa. So, the second paragraph in Article 4 only refers to 2 violations. Dalawa lang ha. Hindi kasama ang iba. Remember, there are more than 10 plus felonies. Ang felonies lang sa paragraph 2 ay yung nanakit ka ng tao or pinakialaman mo ang mga gamit niya. Focus lang yan sa dalawa. O sige, please continue. Paragraph.
Okay po. By any person performing an act which would be an offense against person or property, were it not for the inherent impossibility of its accomplishment or
Na lang muna stop. Were
po.
it not for the inherent impossibility of its accomplishment. Sa Tagalog pa, or how do you interpret this inherent impossibility of accomplishment? Sa tingin mo, Dandan? Kung sabi mo inherent, talagang siya mismo hindi siya ma-accomplish. Hindi pwede ba? Hindi inherent impossibility of accomplishment, meaning in simple terms, it can never be accomplished. And continue. Were it not for the inherent impossibility of its accomplishment, or on account of
the employment of inadequate or ineffectual means.
The paragraph 2 is required to be memorized by you because these words cannot be replaced by any words. Meaning to say, if I'm going to ask paragraph 4 again, you have to answer me. For example, if the problem I'm going to ask you and your reply is on paragraph B of Article 4, you must say it in toto. That is called impossible crime. What is impossible crime? Impossible crime is defined in paragraph 2 of Article 4, which is, say it again in toto, Dandan. Impossible crime is?
It's a okay.
Paragraph. Impossible crime is defined in paragraph 2 of Article 4, which is paragraph 2.
Which is by any person performing an act which would be an offense against persons or property, were it not for the inherent impossibility of its accomplishment, or an account of the employment of inadequate or ineffectual means.
There's no other wordings for impossible crime. That is all. That is the exact definition. You cannot even rewrite it into other terms. So if your answer to me is the accused committed an impossible crime under paragraph 2 of Article 4, which is defined as any person committing a felony, although the wrongful act can be by any person tawag doon covered by any person performing an act which would be an offense against persons or property, were it not for the inherent impossibility of its accomplishment or an account of the employment of inadequate or ineffectual means. Wala na siyang other acceptable answer for impossible crime, but paragraph 2 of Article 4. Paano ba ginagawa ang impossible crime? So I will give you an example. Kunwari, nagplano ka na nakawan mo si Naomi. Kasi si Naomi, marami yan siyang collections ng mga ballpen. Naomi, no, madami kang mga collection. Kunwari, meron kang Parker 1980, Parker 1981, Parker 1982, 83, 84, 85. Parang ako yun ang collection ko talaga noon, yung Parker na ballpen every year. Ewan ko, yung mula pa college, parang meron akong, mula nang mag-graduate ako sa college, nilagaruhan ako ng lolo ko ng Parker ballpen. Na-amaze ako sa Parker ballpen. Nagkaroon ako ng parang, pag nakakita ko ng Parker ballpen, iba naman yung tsura, bilihin, parang ganun ba? Nag-collect nga ng Parker ballpen. Kunwari si Naomi, nagko-collect ng Parker ballpen. Oh. Tapos, nakita niya si Cleofe na may Parker ballpen na maganda. Ninakawan ni Naomi si Jovelyn ng Parker na ballpen. Hoy Naomi, ninakaw mo yung Parker ni Jovelyn. Pag uwi mo ng bahay, siyempre happy ka kasi may additional ka na Parker ballpen. Pagbukas mo sa Parker ballpen, nakalagay, personal property of Naomi Unahon. Oh my God, ballpen ko pala. Ito pala yung Parker ballpen ko na nawala. Tinago pala ni Jovelyn yung aking Parker ballpen. So, akin pala itong ninakaw ko. So, nagnakaw ka ng gamit mo. That is called an impossible crime. Why is it an impossible crime? Because that is a crime against property. And there is an inherent impossibility of accomplishment. Bakit siya hindi ma-accomplish? Kasi hindi pwedeng nakawin ang iyo. What is theft? Theft is the taking of personal property belonging to another. Ang intention mo is to commit theft. But can you accomplish theft? No. You can never accomplish the felony of theft because you have just taken a property that is yours. Kaya nga, pag yung mga depensa, paano ko manakaw ito? Akin ito. Kailan pa kailan pa ba naging iyo si Ortiz? Basta kay sa iyo yan. Parang mga ganyan. Kailan pa ba naging sa iyo yung damit ko? Oh, di ba? Hindi akin to, binigay mo na to kaya akin na ito. Paano ko manakaw to, binigay mo na sa akin? Nakuha yung point ko. Hindi mo mananakaw ang isang bagay na pag-aari mo. That is why stealing a property, if you are, even though your intention is bad, talaga lang may masama kang hangarin, nakawin. Kaso, nang natapos mong nakawin, tapos na, accomplishment, you have accomplished the act. But it cannot be accomplished. Why? Because you cannot steal something that is yours. That is called impossible crime. Ano ang pangalawa? May balak ka, what is an example against person? May balak si Geraldine si Dion Garcia barilin pag natutulog na sa kwarto niya. Pag natulog na ito si Dion, ratrakan ko to ng Armalite. So, nung gabing yun, nakita ni Dandan nakita ni Elmon si Edwin Torres na natutulog na. So, nag-abang si Elmon sa labas ng window. Pagkita niya, in-off na ni Edwin ang suga, nag-open fire na si Elmon. Ito na ang katapusan mo, Edwin. Hindi ka na aabutan ng sikat ng araw. Papapapapapapapak. Iratata niya og baril. Nagka-boslot ang dingding ni Edmond. Sigurado na yun si Elmon Santos na patay na yun ni si Edwin kay nabuslot god. Iyaha pag yung gilabayan o granada. So, pag adto dito ni Elmon, pag check niya sa room ni Edwin, it turned out wala si Edwin, tuwa day dito lang namit bahay, nagkaon og biko. Yana day si Edwin, gigutom ko. Punta mo na ako sa bahay nila, Harvey Calabia, kain mo na ako ng biko. Yan. So, walang tao doon sa kwarto ni Edwin. Can the felony of murder be accomplished? Wala namang mamatay pwede doon kahit pa maubusin na niya yung buong bala sa Davao City sa PNP. Walang taong mamamatay. Meron unan at habol, magkabangag-bangag. Yan. That is a crime against persons, but it has an inherent impossibility of accomplishment. The crime of murder can never be accomplished because there is no person in the room. Merong kasalanan, meron. Damage to property siguro. Damage to property, yan. But the crime of felony of murder can never be accomplished because there is no person in the room. What has been committed? Elmon committed an impossible crime of murder. His intention, the felony by dulo, should be, kung nandoon si Edwin, murder. Kasi plinano man yon using the Armalite. Wala si Edwin. Anong kaso? Impossible crime of murder and damage to properties. The question is, impossible crime a crime? Of course, it is a crime because it has a penalty of 6 years. Lahat ng bagay, hindi ka nga ma-penalize for murder na reclusion perpetua or habang buhay na pagkabilanggo. Pero ma-punished ka for impossible crime. Which is, there is an impossibility of accomplishing murder on the account that there is no person in the room. Pero pwede ang tawag doon, pwede ang damage to properties. Tingnan natin tong impossible crime. So in your have we discussed already the difference between tawag doon? Error and persona. Or 3 naman tanong. Mala inse and mala prohibita?
Not yet, attorney.
Mala inse, bad by itself. Mala prohibita, it is bad because the law prohibits it. So, mala inse, ito yung mga murder, homicide, talagang meron galing sa masamang intensyon. How about prohibita? It is bad because it is prohibited by law. The law prohibits it. Like for example, the law prohibits the use of marijuana. Pero, ang marijuana, marami man yan medicinal. Sino dito ang merong tawag doon? Pressure sa mata, yung mataas ang grado ng mata? Ikaw, Ronald Ferrer, hindi mo mataas ang grade mo? Sa mata? Anong grado mo? Senior high? Hindi, joke.
Negative 120.
Baba mo yun, uy. Ang negative, makapal ba yung negative 120?
Nearsighted.
Nearsighted. Lahat may nearsighted kay ang mga pangit magbuha pa sa doon. Ang mga farsighted, ang mga pangit magbuha pa sa layo. Yan yan. Ikaw, Elmon, hindi ba makapal ang iyong eyeglasses, Mr. Santos?
Learning, makapal po siya. Ang grado ko nito, negative 400.
Naglagay ka ng yung hinuhulog sa
Ah, yes,
meron
attorney.
alam mo ba may cannabis yan? Kaya nga pag nagpa-drug test ka, sabihin mo talaga na nagagamit ka ng eye dropper. Kasi magpapositive ka. So ngayon, hulihin na kita kay naggamit ka man ng marijuana. Siyempre, what is prohibited is yung smoking, yung that is mala prohibita, but it can be medicinal, di ba, ang marijuana in your eyes. The law prohibits it. So sabi salaan ng marijuana kung di ba sa ubang bansa ilahan ng decriminalize ang marijuana. Pagbaba nimo og Paris, masinghot na nimo dito ang marijuana og napalang ka sa airport. Imo makasalubong mga tao amoy marijuana, amoy dope, di ba? Dope, mga any kinds of cigarette, di man bawal sa ilaha. Kay feeling nila magbehave ang ilang citizen kung og cocaine. Ay, sana ka naman nigarilyo mo, sana lang yun na sarili. Basta, dili, bawal sa ilaha ang marijuana. You can buy it. Even in Thailand. Sa atin, bawal. Kasi pag mo yun, pag hindi may pagbawal ang marijuana, baka lahat ng estudyante mo sa klase, naglutaw na. Mag-marijuana. Di ba? Pampakalma, kalma, kalma. Di ba merong kanta na, kalma, kalma yan. Kalma lang, may marijuana na. Kalma. Yun ang gamit ng pero that is prohibited, marijuana. I think gamay lang mang tao dira ang interested sa marijuana. So that is mala prohibita. Using drugs, mala prohibita. Or magpalit ka isa kasako na fertilizer. Naalam ba yung certain amount na allowed ka sa fertilizer? Ako, nabiktima ko aning prohibita. Isog pa kayo ko. Gipamutol na ako. Daghan na anig sawa ang amo ang kawayan sa bukid. Potol na ako. Adto kog DNR. Kusa man na, ma'am, namoy sala. Usa man sala. Nagbaha. Giputol akong kawayan. Dahag sawa na sulod. Ma'am, magkuha ba kag permit? Maputol og kawayan. Yay. Na-day permit ang kawayan. So mao day ni dire ang mga sawa sa kawayan kay kabalo sila manghuwag permit ang tag-iya. Manghawa lang sila pag naanay permit. Karon nagkabalo na so Diyos ko pila to ka kawayan akong giputol napulo lang to ka kanang dili lang baga kaayo ba. Dali arabod balita na siguro yung mga chismoso sa bukid kay nakaabot man dayon sa DNR ang pagputol ako kawayan. Isa kay ni-report sa DNR ito ang sawa to ang mga silingan dito. Diyan tuan man dayon ko. So wala na lang ako nagpadayog putol. Ako na itong tagbason tong mga kawayan dito kay daghan na kaayo. Nya ipabayad pa ko. May panipalit na lang kong kawayan, wala pa ako na-hassle, nagbuhat pa kong affidavit, nagbuhat pa ko og kuan ulit son ning kawayan. Ako pag yung lupa, di ba? Una-una ako maging animo na manangit pa day ka sa DNR, magkuha og Pero the law is harsh niya. Kasa daw ni Bill? Ordinance lang siguro ni dili attorney nakapublish. Yay, nakapublish kita sa newspaper. So it is a published in the national circulation. So wala di ko mabuhat na it is against the law to cut your kawayan. Kabayan. Mala prohibita na ako. Sige. Wala ko record niya. Mas na ko record pagkuhag in clearance cutting of bamboo. Nagka-record ang record na mutol og bamboo. Iyabad yung lupa pastilan. Pagka-hassle na lang jud. Mala prohibita hassle pero kay batas man walang magawa. That is an example. So what is mala prohibita? Mala inse. Mala inse is bad by itself. Mala prohibita, it is bad because it is prohibited by law. The penalties and mala inse are covered in the revised penal code. The penalties and mala prohibita are covered by special laws. Tapos, mala inse, they are against the law, no matter what is the time and season. But mala prohibita, they might depend on the period. Like for example, during gun ban, meron lang siyang period na prohibited. But in other days, it is not prohibited. But mala inse, it is not allowed all the time. Dili pwede na, karon pwede ka mo patay, sa Domingo pwede na pod. Kaya, during sa election, pwede na magputla ng ulo imong kalaban na kapitan. Pag wala election, di siya allowed, dili ana. So that is the difference. Merong period and season for mala prohibita, but mala inse, it is consistent throughout and applicable to all Filipino no matter what the period is. So karon, if you listen to the hearing in the Senate, they will always mention, is this mala prohibita, mala inse? Kasi when they will define new law, bagong batas, they have to include in the purpose of making the law, are they making a law that is mala inse and the nature of mala inse? So if they are making a law that is in the nature of mala inse, like for example, gumawa sila noon ng bagong batas sa piracy and the high seas. Sabi nila mala inse. Yung bagong batas sa piracy. So alam natin ibig sabihin na mala inse yung piracy and the high seas. So wala siyang season. It is not allowed all the time. So meaning you have to show your intent. Pag sinabi nila na the law they are making is mala inse, the prosecution must prove the intent. So kung yung bagong batas na ginawa ng Senate or ng House is a mala prohibita, intent is not necessary. And they have to lay down the period on which it would be allowed or not allowed. So pag nakikinig kayo dyan ng mga question and answer nila, debates nila, they would also debate whether the new law is mala inse or mala prohibita. You get me? So when you hear these terms, you know the implications or the meaning of mala inse and mala prohibita. In the Article 4 kanina, we have also mentioned yung the third error. Ano yung third error? The result exceeded the intention. So what are the things you have to remember also in the doctrines and Article 4? Yeah. Here. I have included in your assignment the case of Padilla versus Dizon in Mala Inse. Has anyone made a tawag dito? Case digest ni Dizon and Owanes and Achong. Meron na ba nag-report sa inyo nito? ni Uwanis and Achong sa mistake of fact? Ay, sige. Article 4, because the next is your reporting of cases. So, Article 4, I have given you here US Valdez, Belbes. So, this doctrine of proximate cause, you also have to remember the term doctrine of proximate cause. This is in your syllabus. And tawag doon, the law, yung he who is the cause of the cause is the cause of the evil cause. That is under the doctrine of proximate cause. Kung sino yung may dahilan, ang unang na dahilan, siya ang may dahilan. He who is the cause of the cause is the cause of the evil. Kung sino yung unang cause, kahit pa ilang sanga na yan, ikaw pa rin ang may kasalanan, yung nauna. That is the doctrine of proximate cause. So, here, the proximate cause versus the remote cause, yung nauna at sa huli. So, this is under Article 4 in criminal liability. And I have gave you cases under Article 4. Nakalista naman sa binigay sa inyo. People versus Villacorta, Belbes, Valdez, Almonte, Ortiga, Urbano. And I also ask you in your assignment, you have to differentiate error in persona, aberratio ictus, praeter intentionem. The case are People versus Gona, Mabugat, and Gaduco. I hope you have make a digest of this. And assignment number 9 in your syllabus, you have to define impossible crime under INTOD, and here these are the cases covered by impossible crime. Yan. Up to Article 4. Since bago pa man tayo, is there a brave soul who will volunteer? I will give you 10 minutes break to prepare for the case. Otherwise, I will call people to discuss People US versus Achong, People versus Owanis, US versus Valdez.
Attorney, the US versus Achong was already reported last
Meeting.
po.
So dito sa Article 4. So, Article 4, I need reporters on People versus Villacorta. And then US versus Valdez. Then People versus Urbano. People versus Gona. And People versus Jacinto versus People. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cases first. Kung wala mag-volunteer, I will use the wheel. When I'll give you 10 minutes to prepare. People versus Villacorta, Aaron and sorry, kay mo gininigawas diri Milbert. followed by U.S. Valdez, Alfred Garcia, and Madroniero. Then Urbano, Donna Habacon, third reporter, and Torres Edwin. Followed by Gona, Dandan, Esther, Dandan Geraldine, and Esfer Pasaje. Jacinto versus People, Mika versus Olaer. So the reporters are Aaron, Garcia, Donna, Dandan, Mika, and the grader or questioners, Almidbert, Madroniero, please acknowledge, Madroniero Hemima. Is he present? Present ba ito si Madroniero? Wala man nagasagot. Edwin, present man, no?
Attorney, kami po.
Pahero, Dandan, and Mika Olaer are they present? Parang hindi ko lang nakita dito sa ano ko itong Madroniero. So I will replace this with Aaron, Garcia, and Aaron. Hindi kasi nagalabas pagtawag ko sa screen. So 10 minutes, you prepare. Let's begin with the first case. Villacorta, Aaron, and Mibet. You may start.
Ma'am, good afternoon. Good afternoon, classmate.
Sino yung reporter? Ang to be followed by Garcia and ano yun, Madroniero sa second.
Valdez po yung sa amin, ma'am.
Oh, sa second case. First muna si Villacorta.
So,
Reporter?
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. In the case of People versus Villacorta, GR number 186412, dated September 7, 2011, the issues of this case are as follows. One, whether the prosecution proved Villacorta's guilt beyond reasonable doubt for the crime of murder, and whether the trial court correctly appreciated the qualifying circumstance of treachery in convicting Villacorta for murder, and whether Villacorta should be held liable only for slight physical injuries instead of murder, given the cause of Cruz's death was tetanus infection, not the stab wound. The
You
facts.
can change your issue whether or not the proximate cause. So we are not going to discuss the guilt or the crime of murder kay sa book 2 man yang the issues you have mentioned are issues in book 2. We are still in book 1, so you are still in the proximate cause article 4. So choose an appropriate issue in article 4.
The issue is whether or not the proximate cause of Cruz's death was the stab wound. The facts are as follows. On January 23, 2002, at around 2 a.m., Danilo Cruz was ordering bread at a sari-sari store in Navotas, Metro Manila, operated by Cristina Mendeja. Orlito Villacorta, a regular customer at the store, suddenly appeared and without uttering a word, stabbed Cruz on the left side of his body with a sharpened bamboo stick. The bamboo stick broke and was left embedded in Cruz's body. Villacorta fled the scene immediately. Mendeja chased Villacorta but failed to catch him. Mendeja's neighbor, Aaron, removed the broken bamboo stick from Cruz's body and he was taken to Tondo Medical Center for treatment. So the ruling of this case is the Supreme Court upheld the credibility of eyewitness Mendeja as her testimony was consistent that no ill motive was shown for her to falsely accuse Villacorta. The court noted that the trial courts are in best position to determine the credibility of witnesses since they have the opportunity to observe demeanor during trial. And the Supreme Court ruled that Cruz's death was due to tetanus infection, which was an efficient intervening cause and not the direct result of the stab wound inflicted by Villacorta. As such, Villacorta could not be held liable for murder. The proximate cause of death was the tetanus infection and not the stab wound itself. And the Supreme Court found that Villacorta guilty of slight physical injuries under Article 266, Paragraph 1 of the Revised Penal Code. The court held that the prosecution failed to establish beyond reasonable doubt that Villacorta had the intent to kill Cruz. Villacorta was sentenced to 30 days of arresto menor with the aggravating circumstance of treachery being appreciated.
Okay, question? Milbert, how many minutes was the report of Aaron?
Almost 4 minutes, ma'am.
Okay, what are your questions for Aaron?
Mr. Aaron, what was the proximate cause?
So the court ruled that the proximate cause of Cruz's death was due to tetanus infection, and the court determined that the tetanus infection rather than the stab wound itself, since the stab wound did not directly cause Cruz's death, and that's why Villacorta could not be held liable for murder.
No more questions, ma'am.
Aaron, if Villacorta was not stabbed with a stick, do you think he will die?
No po, ma'am.
So what's the connection with the tetanus and the stab wound? The
stab wound was considered as the efficient intervening cause rather than the stab, rather than
ito, di ba, sinaksak siya. Pagkasaksak niya, may naiwan na ano sa loob, di ba, kawayan, sabi mo? Dinala ng hospital. Sabi ng doktor, hindi naman yung kawayan ang nakapatay sa kanya, kung hindi yung tetanus na ibig sabihin madumi yung kawayan, di ba?
Yes,
kasi di ba tayo pag natunog, alam mo si matetanus ka, meaning ana ng hugaw na ay tetanus. Tetanus is a bacteria, right? Sa lupa.
Yes, sir.
So kapag nakagat ka or nakaapak, di ba gina-injectionan ka ng anti-tetanus kay baka may bacteria yung naapakan mo or nakagat sa iyo na animal. Kasi tetanus is a bacteria. Yun, ang sabi ng doktor, namatay siya sa bacteria.
Yes, attorney.
So, how do you explain the doctrine of proximate cause in this case?
Proximate cause has been defined in this case as that cause which in natural and continuous sequence unbroken by any efficient intervening cause produces the injury and without which the result would not have occurred. So in this case, after Villacorta was stabbed, immediately after he was stabbed in the early morning of January 23, 2002, Cruz was rushed to and treated as an outpatient in Tondo. And
Kunwari ganito, Mr. Milbert,
Ma'am,
kunwari, sinaksak siya ng, di ba, ang kaso ni Aaron, he was stabbed with a bamboo stick.
yes ma'am.
Tapos, sa bamboo stick, yung sugat doon mismo ang, meron palang, madumi pala yung stick, kaya siya na matay, nagkaroon ng tetanus. Paano kung pagsaksak ng bamboo stick namatay diretso kasi sobrang lalim na punctured ba yung heart? Will you apply the doctrine of proximate cause? Sabihin mo, the proximate cause of death was the stab wound, the bamboo stab wound.
Ma'am, hindi pwedeng i-apply ma'am
Bakit?
because the cause of the death of the victim is tetano ma'am.
So, ibig sabihin kung pagsaksak sa kawayan, diretso na puncture ang heart. So, the direct cause of the death was the stab wound.
Yes ma'am.
Itong case ni Aaron, the cause of death was the tetanus of the bacteria, not the stab wound. So, meaning, pwede siyang mabuhay kung malinis yung stick.
Yes ma'am.
Namatay siya dahil madumi yung stick, meron tetanus bacteria, di ba?
Yes ma'am. Yes ma'am.
So, you call that the doctrine. So, proximate cause, malapit. So, the doctrine of proximate cause or the cause of the death was the stab wound, which was infected with the bacteria. Tama ba?
Yes ma'am.
Bakit sa tingin mo mababa ang sentensya?
Ma'am, mababa yung sentensya ma'am because the case was a homicide case ma'am.
Ano yun?
Homicide case ma'am.
Mas mababa ang sentensyas, Aaron, kasi hindi yung saksak niya ang cause ng death. Mababa ang sentensya na lower kasi kung nagpagamot siya, di ba? Hindi sana siya namatay, meron din siyang negligence ang tawag doon, ang victim. Alam mo na meron kang sugat, dapat nagpagamot ka. Hindi ka pabaya sa sugat mo. Lahat naman siguro ng may sugat gagamutin. So meron siyang tawag doon, contribution sa death niya. Hindi lang yung wound. So we call that doctrine of proximate cause. So meron tayong Approximate cause versus remote cause. Ito sa kanya, ang proximate cause is dapat meron naman ding tama na panahon. For example, ngayon si Aaron, ngayon niya sinaksak. Tapos after 5 years pa namatay. Sa tingin mo, you are still liable, Aaron? Kung sabihin niya na, ba't siya namatay? Kasi nagka-tetanus, 5 years ago naman yun. So meron din siyang limitation of time na yung sugat nagkaroon and then na-tetanus. Malay mo, gumaling na pala yung sugat niya. Tapos kinalkal niya, kinamot ng kinamot. Yung kamay niya ang cause na naman. So kakakalmot niya doon. So sarili. So marami tayong about sa mga ganyan na mga things in our revised penal code na over naman. So there has to be also a period of time from the time the victim was wounded and from the time that he died. So in this case, you just remember the doctrine of proximate cause, meaning it was not the action of the accused which caused the immediate death. There is something in between. Kasi pag sinabi mong immediate death, sabi kanina ni Milbert, na sabi ni Mr. Balinga na the penalty would be different if after sinaksak namatay, highest yun. So the direct cause of the death is the stab wound. Here, the cause of death was not the stab wound, but the tetanus. Pero merong limit yun, Aaron, ha? Dapat mga a few months nasugatan ka or a few days, tapos nagka-tetanus ka. So the doctor will also determine up to kailan ba mag-heal ang wound ng isang tao? Meron ba ditong sugat na hindi naghihilom? Like for example, 10 years na yung iyong tusok ng si Grace natusok ng thumbtacks. Grace, ilang years na yung thumbtacks mo natusok? 10 years na ma'am, wala pa rin na ayo. Diba? Merong period of healing. Diba, Mary? Kung nasaktan ka man, huwag naman forever. Walang forever. Ipagamot mo na yan. So, let's proceed to U.S. Valdez, Garcia, and Madroniero. Madroniero. Isutan yung pangalan ay Madroniero. Go ahead. Thank you, Aaron and Mr. Milbert.
Okay, good afternoon. I will be the one to grade. Okay, Mr. Garcia.
Si Garcia, wala. Nag-freeze? You can begin, Mr. Garcia.
Am I audible, ma'am?
Edible.
Okay. So, in the case of People versus Valdez, the issue, wait. Sorry. The facts of this case are as follows, ma'am. On November 29, 1919, Calixto Valdez was in charge of a small boat that was racing an anchor on the Pasig River. Venancio Gargantel, who was one of the crew members, saw Calixto approaching him with a big knife and threw himself into the water to escape. The boat was about 30 to 40 yards from land, and Venancio did not resurface after jumping into the water. The crew members did not try to rescue him because they were afraid of Calixto's threats. The prosecution's case relies on the assumption that Venancio Gargantel died from drowning after jumping into the river. However, the defense argues that there is no evidence to prove that Venancio died and that it's possible that he survived and may have even risen to the surface at some point. the majority opinion holds that Venancio Gargantel is dead and that his death was caused by Calixto Valdez actions. The court cites several precedents, including a Spanish decision that states that even if the death of the victim is not immediate, the perpetrator can still be held responsible for homicide if they force the victim to take an action that leads to their death. So, in conclusion, this case highlights the importance of having sufficient evidence to prove a crime beyond reasonable doubt. No? The attorney, the majority opinion holds the Calixto Valdez is guilty of homicide based on assumption that Venancio Gargantel died from drowning after, while the dissenting opinion argues that there is no sufficient evidence to prove Venancio's
Question,
death.
Madionero, he has, go ahead. Nakamute ka, Jemima.
Thank you very much, Mr. Garcia, for that report. You reported your case within the time frame. So here are my questions. So my first question is, how does the case illustrate the principle of proximate cause in determining criminal liability?
So, in this case, the proximate cause of Venancio Gargantel's death would be the act of jumping into the water to escape Calixto's attack. Maybe the
Okay.
court may argue that Calixto actions approaching Venancio with a big knife directly caused Venancio to jump into the water, which ultimately led to his death.
Okay, thank you. And my second question is, what role does the concept of remote cause play in the assessment of criminal liability as demonstrated in this case?
So, to refer first, the remote cause, remote cause refers to a cause that is indirect or secondary, but still contributes to the occurrence of an event. So in this case, the remote cause of Venancio Gargantel's death could be the fact that Calixto was in charge of the boat and was armed with a knife. So maybe not maybe, the court may argue that Calixto's actions, although not directly causing Venancio's death, created an environment that led to Venancio's death. For example, Calixto's actions created fear and panic, which led Venancio to jump into the water.
Okay. So thank you very much for answering that question, and I can see it that your answers are on point to what I've asked you. So my grade to you is 89 for this case. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much, Mr. Garcia.
Minus one sa 90. So this is the case of US Valdez. The issue here is whether or not the cause of the death of the victim is the action of the accused. So whether or not the doctrine of proximate cause applies to the case at hand. So what happened to this case is they were riding in a boat in the middle of the sea. The accused here was holding a knife and he was the driver of the bangka. And they have an argument. After the argument, yung accused here, tinutukan niya he pointed a knife at the victim. The victim, the action of the accused put a fear in the mind of the victim whether he would be stabbed by the accused. Maliit man yung the victim here was a small guy and the accused was a big guy. So kung ikaw ang nasa kalagayan niya Alfred, na tinutukan ka ng kutsilyo ng malaking tao. Anong gusto mo? Saksakin ka or lulundag ka sa bangka na meron ka pang pag-asang mabuhay?
I'll just jump, ma'am.
So meaning the cause of the reason that the victim here jumped to the sea was because of the fear in his mind that he would be killed by the accused. So the proximate cause here is the fear. Fear, yung takot sa isip. Kung hindi siya pinakitaan ng kutsilyo, hindi siya matatakot, correct? For example, kung nasa lupa itong bangka at tinutukan si Alfred ng kutsilyo, mabubuhay ka, di ba, kahit lumundag ka sa bangka? Kunwari ba, yung bangka nasa lupa. Kaya hindi siya the difference in this case is the bangka is in the middle of the sea. So the survival of the victim is lower in the middle of the sea compared if he jumped out of the boat in the middle of the land, di ba? Ito yung case ng doctrine of proximate cause. So, what started it all? Why did he jump? Because of the fear in his mind. So, who instilled the fear? It was the accused. Sino ba ang naglagay ng takot sa utak niya? Therefore, meron tayong mali doon, Alfred. When you decide on a person, it is not because of the majority of the opinion. The opinion does not matter in the case. It is the decision. So, it is the appreciation of the judge that the cause of the death of the victim was the proximate that the accused was the proximate cause of the death or drowning of the victim because he was the one who instilled fear in the mind of the accused. So his action caused the victim to jump out of the boat. Okay, so let's proceed to Donna. Third case, Urbano. Dion, sino itong inano ko ito? Third reporter, Donna ba yun? Where's Donna? Dana pala, Dana
Yes.
Dizon versus Edwin ba yun? Donna Habacon, yes. Donna Habacon and Edwin. Proceed.
Hello? Hello?
Hello po. Asa man ka? Uli na, day. Nuto nagsudan.
Hold on. Give me a second po, attorney, please. I'll just fix. It's not connecting. I'll just.
Nagluto na ka?
Kahit na po.
In the case of,
So, attorney, me and Donna, we're going to report case digest the case of Filomeno Urbano, the petitioner, versus Honorable Intermediate Appellate Court and the people of the Philippines as the respondents. So, Donna, you may now start your report.
Okay. So in the case of Urbano versus Honorable Intermediate Appellate Court and the people of the Philippines, the issue here is that should we apply the doctrine of the proximate cause to Javier's present case. So for the ruling for this one, the Supreme Court's decision, for the facts, the case of Urbano versus Intermediate Appellate Court, it involves Filomeno Urbano and the Intermediate Appellate Court and the people of the Philippines. This incident happened on October 23, 1980 in Barangay Anonan, San Fabian, Pangasinan. So Urbano, he discovered that his palay storage was flooded because of an irrigation canal that was opened by Marcelo Javier. So this led to a confrontation between Urbano and Javier, during which Urbano hacked
Javier with a bolo, and it results with a 2-inch incest wound on Javier's right palm and a swelling on his left leg. So Javier received medical treatment from Dr. Mario Meneses and Dr. Guillermo Padilla. Subsequently, Urbano and Javier settled their differences through barangay mediation, with Urbano agreeing to cover Javier's medical expenses. However, on November 14, 1980, Javier, he began showing symptoms of tetanus and he died the following day. Urbano was then charged with homicide and he was found guilty by the Circuit Criminal Court of Dagupan City. So the Intermediate Appellate Court affirmed this decision and increased the indemnity to Javier's heirs to 30,000 pesos. Urbano's motion for reconsideration was denied and it leads to this petition. So for the ruling for the court, though this does not constitute the doctrine of proximate cause. The Supreme Court's decision was based on medical findings and the legal principle of proximate cause. The court observed that the symptoms of tetanus appeared 22 days after that hacking incident, and it indicates that the severe form of tetanus was not present at the time of the wound's infliction. The court concluded that the tetanus infection was an efficient intervening cause that is distinct and foreign to the crime. The court emphasized that for a criminal conviction, the proof must convince beyond reasonable doubt, which was not met in case. So the court referenced Article 29 of the Civil Code, which allows for civil liability to be pursued even if the criminal liability is not established beyond reasonable doubt. Consequently, the court reversed the decision of the Intermediate Appellate Court and acquitted Urbano of homicide, but left open the possibility for civil action by Javier's heirs. So I am done with my report, attorney. Thank you. So,
You may begin your questions, Mr. Torres.
I'm sorry, I forgot to open my audio. Okay, Donna, I have two questions for you. Okay, my first question is that what was the ruling of the Supreme Court on Urbano's charge of homicide?
So thank you for the answer. So to answer the question, the court relied on medical evidence as what I've cited earlier and the legal principle of the proximate cause. So the medical findings, it says that it shows that before he died, 23 days earlier, there were no signs of tetanus in his body. Therefore, it was medically concluded that the wound was inflicted weeks after the incident of that hacking.
Okay, so that is the ruling of the Supreme Court. That is it supported the ruling of the Supreme Court. But what is so was he acquitted? Second question, was he acquitted or was he charged with homicide?
Yes, he was, Filomeno Urbano was acquitted with homicide. However, it left the possibility of Javier's heirs to pursue civil liability according to the Article 29 of the Civil Code.
Okay, thank you, Donna, for this. I'm giving you a score of 88. Thank you.
What's the difference with the case of Aaron and the case of Donna, Mr. Edwin?
Sorry, Attorney?
What's the difference between the case reported by Donna and the case reported by Aaron?
Honestly speaking, Attorney, I was not fully aware of Aaron's case. I was busy preparing for tackling this facts with Donna. Sorry about that.
Okay, Donna, what's the difference between your case and the case of Aaron?
Hello?
Hello? Naluto na ka, Donna?
I'm sorry, problems with my audio, attorney. So,
What's the difference by the difference with your case and the case reported by Aaron?
So in Aaron's case, the cause of death was like there's no the period. The difference is the period, because in my case it happened weeks after. The tetanus happened weeks after it was in the healing process. So that is why my case is not applied. The doctrine of proximate cause was not applied. However, in his case, it happened after the death, after he was stabbed. So yeah, immediately. So
meaning most probably in the case of Aaron, most probably the tetanus, the bacteria was already with the kawayan, the bamboo. In your case, the bolo was siguro hinugasan mo na niya, wala siyang bacteria. So the bacteria, the cause of the death was not with the hacking but other causes. Siguro nagligid-ligid siya sa sapa. Paghuman niya o hack sa iya. So siguro wala siya naligo. Ang iyang kamot hugaw, gipangkatol. So dili itong hacking incident kaya siya nagkaroon ng, that's why he was acquitted. So here, as I have mentioned, if ever you will use doctrine of proximate cause, there must also be a period of time between the causes, the proximate cause. So tama yung, I'm glad that the case of Donna immediately contrasted with the case of Aaron when applying the doctrine of proximate cause. So not because you have a wound caused by an accused and then the wound became infected, it does not mean that you are the proximate cause. So anong sabi ng Supreme Court? For you to become the proximate cause of the death, it has to be proven by medicine and also the period of time. So makita natin na ito sa dalawa, the Supreme Court clearly showed us the particular situation where the doctrine of proximate cause will apply and when it will not apply. So since it's already 4 p.m., the next people will be called on the next meeting. So si Dandan and Nika will report on the next. Kay mulaag sa ako, sa Kadayawan. Palit ko og
Happy Kadayawan, attorney.
yes, gi-remind ko ninyo sa Kadayawan.
Happy Kadayawan, attorney.
Happy Kadayawan.
Kadayawan,
attorney.
Ang akong anak, sige nag-anak, kay mamalit ta. Na jud ko og mga pagkaon sa Kadayawan. No, happy kay ta sa Kadayawan ba haglan sones day ay. Sige, bye-bye. See you on the next.
Thank you, attorney.
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 Yes,
Thank you
who is
po.
the in charge of the attendance?
Thank you, attorney. Bidol po. We'll send the attendance po, attorney.
Yes, Mr. Marshall, can you send me the attendance?
Okay po, attorney.
Picture muna, letter B to be present. Screenshot, and then, ang hindi nag-V, absent. Yan. V to be present. Okay. And send me the video and the names. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, attorney.
Bye, attorney. Bye, attorney. Kadayawan.
Magluto na si Donna. Pagluto na, Donna.
Donna, ang linungaag.
Doon ang balbang sa West Davao.
Hello, hello.
Tol, bantay lang ka, Col. Kami kayo pag-grado, Col.
Ano siya, nalagay ko naka-open og camera.
Kaya kay Ati Tiny ba, si katawa. Wala na ka-mute.